TV, 9 p.m. on the East Coast, and our bumper is running, and we are recording. I forgot to close the curtain earlier, but it's closed now, and we are streaming to multiple social media destinations. We have 2 guests waiting in our chat room, in our green room, and we've got more than that live in our chat room. Let's start a countdown to Studio 7. Oh, yes, okay. We can start. We don't have to keep counting down. Okay, sorry folks, this is all new. Hey, good evening and welcome to pjnet.tv. It's been a long time since we've used Studio 7. We have many, thanks to you all. But the reason we're using Studio 7 tonight is we can bring on 2 guests at the same time, and that's exactly what we're going to do, and I can't wait to introduce you to 2 of the people behind here. Alexa, if you don't mind, would you bring the monitors down? There, and there they are. Alexa, you didn't put anything in the monitor. Alexa, could you please put something inside the monitors? There we go, folks. On our left is Tim Rogers, and on our right is Linsey Huffman, and they are part of, not all of, but certainly a part of, an important part of, the Triad Coalition for Life, and that's their website just above me, Triad Coalition for Life.org. Tim, let's start with you. Obviously, this is a pro-life organization, and it's called Triad. You could have called it Trinity. You could have called it a 3-way stop, but you chose Triad.
Right, and the Triad is 3 cities in North Carolina, centrally located, central part of the state, Greensboro, Winston-Salem, High Point, and surrounding area. It's an MSA of about 1.7 million people, as a matter of fact, and 2 active abortion facilities in the Triad.
And how far back does your involvement go, Tim?
Well, the Triad Coalition was founded by Bobby Singleton just about a year ago, okay? And I joined him in February, and so we have had our first year of operations. Interestingly enough, COVID created opportunity because we were able to stay on the sidewalk at the abortion facility when others had to pull away for a variety of reasons, not everybody, but some. And so once we got past the stay-at-home orders, that was just a couple of weeks, we were out there, and it's been a ministry that has persisted through this time, along with our ministry partners.
So, Tim, what exactly do you do? Is it pretty much the same as everybody else, or just tell us a little bit about your mission?
Well, our mission is on the sidewalk outside the abortion facility, and that means, in biblical terms, we're leaving the 99 sheep to find the one lost sheep. Mm-hmm. And what it is as women and men enter that facility 5 mornings a week, we're there on the sidewalks to engage with them, talk to them, offer them hope. We have ministry partners, Compassion Care out of a city nearby, Yadkinville, and the Pregnancy Network, and they have mobile units on site which have ultrasounds on board. And so it's just a critical moment if a young woman can see her baby, because the women entering are generally between 8 to 15 weeks along in their pregnancy, and that baby is fully formed. He looks like a baby, and so if they can see that baby, it's a life changer. Many times, 60 to 70% of the time, they're going to choose life. And again, they're on their way into the facility most of the time to have an abortion. So this is truly the front lines of this this spiritual, and life and death battle.
Let me turn to Linsey for a moment. Linsey, I was really impressed. By the way, folks, if you are in our chat room, pjnet.tv, When this broadcast is over, we're going to be watching a 5-minute video that's very powerful and very, very heartwarming. Linsey, what is your role in the organization?
So basically, I am what they call a sidewalk advocate. With Triad Coalitions for Life, I'm able to train other sidewalk advocates, but we're there with the mission to love these ladies where they are. We love them on the way in, and we love them on the way out. And really, the basis behind it is to try and be the hands and feet of Jesus and reach these ladies with the love that they've obviously not found in the situations that they have found themselves in that has brought them to an abortion clinic.
On the sidewalk, now, what kind of posture? Tim had mentioned that when the ultrasound is engaged, you have a very high conversion rate, 60 to 70%, but the ultrasound's not always there. What is your posture? I mean, how many of you are there? Do you just kind of lurk and stalk and wait and then pounce on them when they set their foot on? How exactly do you do this in love?
That's very, very good. I'm glad you asked that because honestly, we average around 5 people in a shift. We pray for more, and that is a need of ours. We need more prayer warriors on the sidewalk. But basically, we stay in a spirit of prayer. We have prayer warriors that aren't able to come out with us, and they pray the Holy Spirit there with us. And we just hope that when those ladies and those families and those men are driving in, that they see Christ's love on our face, that we have prayed ahead of time, that his light will be there. What we're really basically doing is trying to hand them literature. So we have resources for them that give them information about pregnancy resource centers in our area. And it also gives information about their pregnancy at the stages that they are entering the abortion clinic. So we try to reach out to them as they're driving in with a smile, with a wave. We're just asking the Lord to stop the car. Mm-hmm. And when he offers those opportunities to us, we just reach out in love. We let them know we care. We want to meet them where they are. We want to know what their situation is, why they're there, if it's something we can help with an immediate need. If not, we'd like to counsel with them more. And we offer the free pregnancy test and ultrasound on the mobile unit.
Tim,
what we know, if I may,
go ahead, Tim.
If I can add to that, what we know is that most of these women and men are troubled about the decision they're about to make. Not all. Some have a stone cold attitude. They, make gestures at us and sometimes yell things out. But we know that they're troubled, and so since we know that only the love of Jesus is going to address that trouble in a permanent way. That's the transcendent goal of why we're there, is to deliver the gospel of Jesus Christ. But where we have to meet them is where they are, listen to what their story might be if they're willing to tell it, and offer them literal resources. I mean, if someone says, this has happened many times, if I don't have this abortion, my boyfriend is kicking me out of the home. We can offer them a resource and housing sometimes that night. In a maternity home in our city. We can just bring out resources for them, for them during their pregnancy, and certainly for their child after they're born, if they choose to carry the child. So we're there again. We're energized by the Spirit of Christ and by the prayer that takes place as well, on our behalf. And as we're there, we're a praying group.
Tim, I want to come back to you in a moment and talk about some of the partners. Linsey, you're out there, and you and others. And I was going to ask, what is the most common, if you're able to engage, what is the most common response? But I think a better question would be, what are the range of responses that you typically get, and how do you handle those?
Oh, wow. The range is broad. You could imagine we get all kinds of things. We actually have a lot of fibs that are told to us in Winston when we're serving outside of Planned Parenthood. We know that on abortion days, that's all that they do. Um, but they are sometimes coerced or counseled with before they reach us as sidewalk counselors to tell us that they're there for other services. So we can kind of tell from the get-go what they're trying to fumble with as far as truth. So those ladies normally, when I engage with them, I just ask, what is it that you're looking for? And some of them are honest. If they're honest with me, then I'll say, okay, well, what brings you here today? Um, is there any way I could ask how far along you are? And of course, if they are honest with me again and they let me know what week they are, we're able to turn to the literature that we have and show them a picture of their baby in the womb. And a lot of times that gets the emotions going, and then we can kind of further talk to them about their situation.
Tim, a moment ago you mentioned that you are referring them to numerous resources. Could you spend a few minutes telling us who those partners are, what role they play, and how you're partnering with them exactly?
Sure. Pregnancy care centers are a critical part of delivering services to people who are abortion minded, abortion vulnerable, and that we hope will choose life. So pregnancy resource centers, there are 78 in North Carolina. There are 9 cities that have abortion facilities. Some have a couple. Charlotte has 3, I think. Raleigh has a couple at least. But pregnancy resource centers sometimes offer medical services, that is, pregnancy tests, ultrasound, STD testing, and treatment. But they all offer education, training, food, clothing for the baby, clothing for the mom, baby strollers. They create a community. They also have women that are mentors for the women and try to do life and throw. We give them some. We've given some baby showers. We see baby showers from the pregnancy resource centers. So that's a very critical part, because when we're on the sidewalk, and I'm out there too, when we get a lady that says, I know I shouldn't do this. What do I do next? Well, we go all out, and we could tell you incredible stories of care that these women receive, even in dire straits. We had one recently, and it was just a really, really tough situation. But the love of Christ just poured out on this young woman and her existing children, and it's just really amazing thing to see. So pregnancy resource centers, key component of this battle. And so we're out there to support the sidewalk ministries of the mobile units, and then we're out there to create connections and build rapport between organizations. We've picked up the ball and done some fundraising for other organizations. So we're just there as a central, again, effort for coalition in the pro-life space. And so that's very useful, because the women come from different parts of the state, sometimes from out of state. And so it's just critical to have that. And then I'll add one more. We have a ministry in Winston-Salem we work with called Not Forgotten Ministries, and they specialize in post-abortive counseling. Mm-hmm. Women who have an abortion almost invariably have lingering emotional issues, and they need to go through a healing process. They need to know that they can be forgiven for this sin. And then we have a number of those women out on the sidewalk with us.
Wow. Lindsey, back to you. You're kind of walking a tightrope when you encounter these women, and perhaps even the men that are there with them. On the one hand, the urgency is we've got to save this baby. Okay, that's obviously on your list of priorities. But then there's also the spiritual side of it, the eternal side of it. and you say, well, that can wait. Let's save this baby. And then, of course, there's the, oh my gosh, I've got to have this abortion. I can't even afford the abortion, let alone, and the care that Tim was mentioning. The nurturing, the paracletic coming alongside and helping. How do you juggle those priorities?
It just happens. The only way I can explain it is the Lord. I promise you. We have such a team of prayer warriors that it just, without a shadow of a doubt that it's God. The words that are said, the emotions that are going into it, we have literally 3 seconds sometimes to get the right words out, and we can't say the right thing. I have no idea when that window rolls down what the attitude's going to be like on the other side of that window. But we know with a smile and already you can just feel the love out there amongst the sidewalk counselors before those cars even start coming up. So it just comes out. As a Christian and with a firm walk with the Lord, you just know that when you start your day with the Lord, everything just comes right after it. And so the steps just follow on the sidewalk. It's beautiful when a young woman does decide to see an image of her baby and we are able to get her onto the ultrasound unit. Once that time of her seeing her baby and counseling goes on, then we have the opportunity to share our faith with them. We ask them first if that's okay with them, and we take a time there to let them know how much Christ loves them, that God sent his only son just for them, and we're able to go through the gospel with them. And we love it when we can say we've had 2 saves on the mobile unit. Mm-hmm. We saved the baby and the mama.
Okay. Tim, I was listening carefully as you were enumerating the various partnerships and other organizations that you partner with, and maybe I missed it. Please tell me I did. Churches, adoption agencies, things like that. Where does the church fit into this?
Well, there are a number of churches that provide all kinds of support. We have a prayer team. We have a prayer call every day at 8:30 that I run, and I'm on site. And, different churches and faiths are represented on that call. We have churches who supply the space so we can do training. We have a church, Life Community Church, my church. Bobby and I go there. They're hosting our training session this Saturday. Churches are generally speaking pretty good supporters of the pregnancy care centers. We encourage that a great deal. But if you ask any sidewalk advocate what's missing on the sidewalk, they'll tell you that it's the presence of the body of Christ, the church, because we might have 4 people out there praying and 5 sidewalk advocates. What if we had 20, 30 praying? I mean, that's a little bit of a missing piece, and unfortunately, many pastors will not teach anything about abortion from their pulpit. And keep this in mind: 1 in 4 women and men will have an abortion, according to CDC statistics. So there are women sitting in that congregation carrying the guilt and shame from 30 years ago, and they need freedom. And so we need churches to come alongside.
Well, Tim and Lindsey, I want to say thank you for sharing not only your time but your stories, and the hope and the encouragement. But I want to also offer you a word of encouragement. And I'm going to read this from our chat room. It comes from Catherine Paceauer, who will be right here tomorrow night, by the way. Tim and Lindsey, thank you for this mission, for reaching out in love to these hurting people, and for your efforts to save these children and families, praying for your mission and for good health and safety for all of you. Now, that is not the only sentiment of encouragement and hope and appreciation, but I certainly wanted to get this out publicly. Folks, if you are not part of the pjnet.tv chat room, you're missing something, and I hope that Tim and Lindsey, both of you, are invited to come join us. We're going to have to wrap it up now, but thank you again, both of you, for investing your time and sharing your story with us right here on PJNet.
Thank you, Mark.
All right. Appreciate it, guys and girls. Folks, what an exciting, what a powerful time. What a fantastic, that sounds kind of elementary, doesn't it? What a powerful ministry. Folks, if you're not involved in some form of ministry, if it's a crisis pregnancy outreach, whatever it may be, folks, we are called to share the gospel. To share the gospel and make disciples. If that's not your cup of tea, go find your cup of tea. Now, before I leave you, we do have Michelle Medlock Adams coming up at the bottom of the hour, and I got a lot of work to do between now and then. So I would leave you with 2 questions I would like you to ask yourself. First, what is the boldest thing that you have ever done for Jesus Christ? And then secondly, how long ago was that? Folks, the mission is huge out there. We're going to have to be bold. And I hope and pray that none of us would ever be satisfied with our answer to either of those 2 questions.